from like 1983 on. Double-digit, high-teen returns. And back then, one of the popular strategies was to say, oh, shoot, I'm 55 years old. I'll just do a 72T election on my IRAs and retirement accounts and take a distribution over my life expectancy, not have to pay penalties. What was a 72T? Well, that's an annuitization without buying an annuity, typically, of your assets. And what you do is you take what are called substantially equal payments over your life expectancy. And back then, you were able to do, willy-nilly, whatever percent assumption you wanted. And a guy came to me and he said, I went to one of the big wirehouses, and the broker there told me I have my $1 million. I could spend $100,000 per year out of my portfolio using a 72T. 10%, I said, are you kidding me? He said, no. He said that'd be a reasonable thing to do. I said, dumb thing to do. So it was a concentrated stock portfolio that had a great track record. And he put virtually all of his money with this guy, a lot of it in that particular account. And he stayed all stock because stocks never went down in the 90s, the 80s and 90s. Yeah, we had that little blip in 87. But really, the year-long return in 1987 after the crash, the year-long return was still a positive like 5%. You still made money. It was only if you invested in August of that year that you got hosed. So this guy convinced his client he'd get at least a 10% return, and therefore he's never going to run out of money on his 72T election. That was 1999. What, pray tell, happened in the year 2000 and 2001 and in 2002? The 80s and 90s, yeah, we had that little blip in 87. But really, the year-long return in 1987 after the crash, the year-long return was still a positive like 5%. You still made money. It was only if you invested in August of that year that you got hosed. So this guy convinced his client he'd get at least a 10% return, and therefore he's never going to run out of money on his 72T election. That was 1999. What, pray tell, happened in the year 2000 and 2001 and in 2002? Yes. And that $1 million portfolio, he took 100,000 out in 2000, 100,000 out in 2001, and 100,000 out in 2002, and he had like $380,000 left over. And he called me up, and he said, what do I do now? And by the way, this was, I believe, either just as it was going on or before they changed the rules. Remember, you had to do a 72T election. Did I sound like my grandmother there? You had to do a 72T election. You couldn't change. Today, you've got a chance to go back and rewrite history a little bit by changing how you take money out, and you could reduce the amount. But he had to take that $100,000 out per year because that was the rate he chose. And at that point, he was going to go broke. He called me and I said, can't help you, dude. And even if I could, I won't, because your expectations of me and your broker were too high. But I fault the broker. I fault the broker because all he wanted was the sale, and he wasn't honest with the guy. Now, he was a younger broker than I was. Maybe he wasn't around in 87. Maybe he wasn't even alive in 73, 74, the last time a really ugly bear market happened. I was a young broker in 73, 74, and it was really freaking hard to sell stock mutual funds back then. Very hard. And I wasn't even selling them. I was selling fixed group annuity contracts in retirement plans with a group of folks that I was involved with. I had a stockbroker. I don't even think I had my license then. I didn't. Stockbroker that was licensed. I had an estate planner, a banker. I put a whole team together because I was a young kid in 73, 74. I was 24. I was a young kid.
Yeah.
I was a little bit younger than you are right now, Bob. Anyway, I've seen this happen dozens of times in my career. It's happened a few times as we've advised people on the radio. Hopefully they've taken our advice and used a safe max withdrawal rate that is more sustainable. How much more sustainable? The probability of success, if you wanted a 95% degree of certainty with a 20% allocation to equities, 2.6%. If you want a 95% degree of certainty, you'll succeed. That's how much you can take out, 2.6%. 2.4% with 40% equities. 2.1% with 60% equities. And 1.8% with an 80% equity allocation. I know that's not what you want to hear. And as I've said before, you could kick those numbers up a little bit because of the spending smile as spending declines and so forth. But you can't kick them up to 6, 7, 8, 10%. Maybe 3, 4% works fine. So be very, very careful. Hire a good financial advisor. Back with Lynn.
Great. Are you looking for new car insurance? Tired of the endless phone calls, quotes, or even the confusing advertising you see on TV and hear on the radio? Quote Rhino Auto Insurance will save you time and money by doing all the work for you and connect you directly to the plan matching your driving needs. Call Quote Rhino Auto now. Quote Rhino Auto and their insurance partners can save you up to $350 per year. We are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Been in an accident recently? Do you have a bad driving record? Don't worry. Quote Rhino Auto Insurance will find the best plan for all drivers. Stop worrying and start saving on auto insurance today. Call Quote Rhino Auto and see how you can save up to 30% off your current rates.
Bob Vila here with my home improvement tip of the day. Adding a half bath to your basement not only increases convenience, but it can also boost the value of your home. You'll need to know if sewer or septic lines are buried sufficiently deep in the ground so gravity can do most of the work getting rid of waste. A check with your municipality or the contractor who built your home will probably provide the answer. If it'll be gravity doing most of the work, you'll still need to install a one-way valve to keep wastewater from backing up into the basement. If the lines are above the level of the toilet, one good option is to install an up-flushing toilet. They generally have pumping mechanisms hidden inside the toilet or behind it. Up-flushing toilets are not cheap, but you probably won't have to cut through your basement slab, so that'll save you money. Some models even allow you to tie in the wastewater lines from sinks and shower stalls. In any case, don't start the job before you check local building codes. Most installations will require a permit. Get more info at bobvila.com and right here at home with me, Bob Vila.
Hi, everybody. Ray Lucia here. You know, we just saw the biggest jump in mortgage rates in more than 25 years. So now it's more important than ever to lock in your loan with a professional who has a thorough understanding of this wild mortgage market. That pro, Steve Alidor, the loan financial planner from Rancho Financial. Steve is one of the top 1% of mortgage originators in the entire country. And for years, Steve has worked with me, my family members and friends, and in most cases will close your loan in 30 days or less. Time is critical if you're ready to buy or refi. No one knows where rates will go next. Learn the advantages of working with a direct lender who can fast-track your loan. Steve Alidor can calculate which program is best for you and educate you about all of your options. Call the loan financial planner, Steve Alidor, at 888-563-1070. That's 888-563-1070. Or watch Steve's free home loan webinar at loanfinancialplanner.com. That's loanfinancialplanner.com.
Financial words of wisdom with Market Wrap host Mo Ansari.
Staying out of the market is the most dangerous thing you can do for your financial future.
If you continue to spend like a drunken sailor, you're going to run out of money. This is not poker. This is your financial future.
It's helpful financial food for thought on your drive home with a host who tells it like it is. Market Wrap with Mo Ansari. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on KCAA 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Ron Pritchard. For this morning, we've got sunny skies on high near 83. Tonight, mostly clear, low near 56. Tuesday, sunny, high near 82. Tuesday night, increasing clouds, a low near 55. Wednesday, mostly cloudy, gradually becoming sunny with a high near 75. Wednesday night, a chance of drizzle, increasing clouds, a low near 55. Thursday, a chance of drizzle, cloudy, becoming sunny with a high near 76. Thursday night, a chance of drizzle, showers possible, mostly cloudy skies, a low near 53. Friday, chance of showers, partly sunny, high near 76. Friday night, chance of showers, partly cloudy, a low near 53. That's your weather forecast for this hour from the station that leaves no listener behind, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, KCAA.
It gets real, it's live, it's really live, local and in motion. Every day on KCAA, the Fire's only live local motion talk. KCAA 1050 AM and KCAAradio.com.
You know, it's always great to have a competent, professional, certified financial planner in the house that I can run some stuff by. Lynn Rowe, how you doing there, kiddo?
I'm good. I should look over my shoulder and see who you're talking about. But
I'm talking about you. And you heard me, I think, in the segment prior to this. You remember the days of the 72T elections where people were using 10% earnings assumptions and the market collapsed. And how many of those people came crying to you afterwards saying, I got to keep taking this money out, but the money is dwindling before my very eyes?
Yeah, lots. We saw that sad story so many times, Ray, and we had to just, we had to tell people what they didn't want to hear.
And that's the business that you're in now. Mm-hmm. You're telling people what they don't want to hear. You told me months ago what I didn't want to hear, and the last 2 nights I've experienced it. My father, as I've told many, 90 years old, who's in great physical health. But 90-year-olds do get infections sometimes, need meds, need care and all that. And it's exhausting.
Thank you.
So my wife and I, the last 2 nights, have spent the night at my dad's place. One night I slept in a recliner chair. Last night in a bed that's harder than this table in his spare room. And, making sure you wake up in the middle of the night to get the meds going and all that stuff. And when you experience it for yourself, and this is, we had to get him to the bathroom and all that stuff, which, wasn't fun, but it was okay. But man, when you experience it yourself, you have a new, keen appreciation for having the money to pay somebody else to do it. A good night's sleep when you have to wake up at 4:30 anyway and do show prep.
And how many times have you heard me say on this show, Ray, getting up in the middle of the night and going to the bathroom right now is not a big deal. It's a big deal when you're disabled, and it's a big deal for your family when you're disabled to help that person go to the bathroom.
Well, it may not be a big deal for you, but it's a big deal for me because of the frequency. That's just an inside old man's joke.
Yes.
But you're right.
Yeah.
You are right. And he had a walker because he had this infection in his leg, and he was in such dire pain he could barely move. And so it took him 15 minutes to get 10 feet. So it was really excruciating to watch. I can imagine what it felt like. Now, as of this morning, it started to get a little better because the meds were kicking in. Some infection, I don't know what they call it, but the doctors knew exactly what it was, and they treated him well for it. But it just brings to light what you've been talking about for years on this program. Well, when you experience it personally, it really does bring it to the light of day.
And one of the things, recently I spoke to an organization of home care providers. It's a professional organization.
I remember that. Yeah, how'd that go?
It went very well.
I spoke at a home care provider meeting. I think I sent you an email last week in San Antonio, Texas. I beat the storms by about 24 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. But, how did that go?
It went very well. This is actually a professional organization of home care providers all over the city, actually all over the county. And first of all, I learned a lot from them. I had no idea the levels of specialization in that field.
You bet.
And these people are so dedicated to basically providing quality care. And quality care doesn't just mean activities of daily living. Their goal is to help people to enhance their lives, to help people to enjoy their lives as much as they are physically possible, and to enhance their health while they're there. So it's so much more than just helping people do the basics. And what people sometimes think of is, gee, at that point, I just soon not be around. Well, that's not true. It's simply not true.
I'll have to introduce you to Johnny Mathis here in San Diego. I know it's Jim Mathis, Mr. Mathis. He was on he's from Always Best Care,
right.
One of our great sponsors.
Right.
They're a fantastic, that's the organization I spoke in front of. They're a fantastic organization. And I was amazed at how intelligent these people are,
oh my.
How concerned as citizens they are, and the level of dedication they have to the elderly. I was proud to say that they're part of this program. It was really, really nice to get to know these folks. Yeah. So let's talk about that for a minute. So here I am, Jeannie and I, spending the night at my dad's place because we want to make sure he gets his meds, want to make sure he can get to the bathroom. We're exhausted. You can probably see the bloodshot eyes that I have today because I got up at like 4, hit the road jack, had to go back to my house, shower up, do my show prep, all the work that I do from home before I come to the studio. So I'm a basket case today.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, we you know, one of the things I told this group is what happens with families before they arrive. And all I could see were all these heads nodding while I was talking because they had seen it. They had seen it over and over again. What happens when somebody hasn't done the proper planning, when they don't have any kind of insurance funding in place, and they're just kind of shooting from the hip. And pretty much they think, okay, I've got it wired. Well, you're not the one who's going to administer this. Your family is. And so what happens is the spouse oftentimes will step up to the plate and say, you know, honey, you know, till death do us part, I'm going to take care of you, until they buckle. Until they buckle. Men and women, they just cannot withstand 24/7 for very long. It's just not possible. And what happens at that point is, generally speaking, one of the kids gets a phone call. You know, Dad's fallen and I can't get him up. Can you come help? Well, you walk 3 kids down the aisle, you put them through college. Are they all going to step up to the plate? Of course not. It's going to be 0, 0, and 100%. Not 33 1/3.
Yeah, I know. We've talked about this so often.
Your family is an exceptional situation.
My family is somewhat of an exception, but I can tell you it's wearing thin.
Well, it does.
It's wearing thin. And this is with someone that walks and talks and gets to the restroom on their own. You know, he's in very good shape for someone 90.
No nurse signs up for a 24/7 shift. There isn't one out there. And so for a family member to think that they can do it, or even 12-hour shifts 7 days a week, it's just insane. It's just insane. So that's why having some plan in place is absolutely essential. And I will tell you over and over again, the plan in place really should involve some sort of funding apparatus like insurance, preferably insurance, because the family will call them first thing rather than trying to be Wonder Woman or Wonder Kid. They will make the phone call to the insurance company and they'll get help.
Here's what I think you ought to do. This is my idea for Lynn Rowe. You heard it first on this program. I think you should go back to this organization and all of those caregivers, you need to call upon them and say, you know what? You all have seen this firsthand. You need to buy long-term care for your own family members, for your parents, and so forth, because even though, you know, you can give care to me, the whole dynamic's going to change when you're giving care to your own mom or dad.
That's right. The relationship changes.
Yep.
You're no longer husband and wife. You're no longer son and dad. You're no longer daughter and mother-in-law or mother. You are now receiver and caregiver. And you can't know the quality of life that just went out the window when that happens.
Okay, when we come back, paying for it. How are we going to pay for it? And how are we going to motivate you to do something about it when she's only 4 foot nothing? I mean, she can't stand up on the table and start screaming. Well, I guess you could.
I'm 5 foot, Ray. Come on.
You made it to 5. All right. She's wearing her high heels today. Lynn Rowe is going to explain to you and I how we can actually afford to pay for long-term health care. Don't go away. 844-RAY-SHOW if you want to speak with Lynn. Otherwise, just shoot us both an email, raylucia.com. Take a quick break. come back. You ready for it?
I am.
All right. Lynn Rose, certified financial planner.
This is KCAA.
California headline news. Beaches are being reopened in the Los Angeles area 2 days after tar balls started washing up on shore. They still don't know if it's linked to the oil spill in Santa Barbara.
It is important to us that everyone remains safe, and that will help us determine and conduct our operations safely and effectively.
Charlene Downey with the Coast Guard. A state Senate committee becomes the latest to give approval to legislation that would allow terminally ill patients in California to end their own lives.
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to let you know that I will be voting yes on the bill today, strictly on the fiscal impact, but I still have a little bit of research to do.
Democratic Senator Connie Leyva. Opponents fearing the measure will result in people who are incapacitated but not terminally ill ending their lives as well. California is a step closer to becoming the first state in the nation to allow motorcyclists to split the lanes of slower moving traffic. Assembly passing the measure yesterday would allow motorcyclists to split lanes as long as they're going less than 50 miles an hour. Geico weather, warming conditions continuing. Jeff Scott, California News.
Here's a crazy idea from Cash Call Mortgage. Take the mortgage you closed in the last year and look at redoing it at today's 15-year fixed 2.875% rate and APR with no closing costs. Just call 877-890-CASH, and with no cost or obligation, we'll tell you how much your payment could drop with the do-over refi. And you won't pay any points, deposits, or fees. None. It's so easy. Just do the regular paperwork, most of which you already did for your last refi, and we'll do the rest. So make the cash call at 877-890-CASH for today's 15-year fixed 2.875% rate and APR with absolutely no closing costs. The do-over refi, only from Cash Call Mortgage. Call 877-890-CASH and see for yourself.
Impact Mortgage Corp. DBA Cash Call Mortgage. Equal Housing Lender. Call 866-900-8744 for terms and restrictions. Rates may change without notice. California Department of Business Oversight. Residential Mortgage Lender Law License 4131083. NMLS 128231.
That's 877-890-CASH.
Here's the latest. I'm Joe McConnell. Senator Lindsey Graham is running for president.
I'm pretty sure no one here, including me, ever expected to hear me say, I'm Lindsey Graham, and I'm running for president of the United States.
The South Carolina Republican made the announcement this morning, and he is the 9th GOP candidate seeking the White House. The U.S. Supreme Court is throwing out a Pennsylvania man's conviction over Facebook threats. The nation's top court ruled in favor of Anthony Alonis today, who had been found guilty of threatening his estranged wife, police, and others on the social media site. Although many critics cited possible violation of the First Amendment, justices did not cite free speech in their ruling. Areas of Texas and Oklahoma are finally getting a break from the weather. Forecasters say skies should be mostly clear for at least the next week. Severe weather and flooding has killed more than 30 people in the two states since Memorial Day. The break in the weather should help searchers try to find several people still missing in flooded areas of Texas. You're listening to the latest from 24/7 News. Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul is calling the expiration of key parts of the USA Patriot Act a huge victory.
The court has said that this bulk collection of all of our phone records is illegal. From here on out, beginning this week, the government will not collect your phone records in bulk.
Those provisions expired at midnight because the Senate was not able to agree on a path forward. Massachusetts tops a new list of the safest states to live in. The list was compiled by Wallet Hub based on factors including natural disasters, workplace safety, and road safety. Massachusetts was ranked number 1 in road safety. Vermont, Minnesota, New Hampshire, and Hawaii round out the top 5. And a really nice surprise is waiting for a woman who brought in a really old computer to a recycling center in Silicon Valley. The computer is a 1976 Apple I, and it's one of only 200 or so of the first-generation desktop computers created by the late Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ron Wayne in their garage. A recycling company sold it to a collector for $200,000, and the firm split the sales proceeds 50-50 with donors. I'm Joe McConnell.
Market Wrap host Mo Ansari discusses the benefits of holistic wealth management.
You need somebody to hold your hand, guide you through the ups and downs of the stock market, the economy, and all the zigs and zags of life. That's why we created the wealth management solution, where we take the holistic approach and look at everything that you've got, not just trying to buy that one stock at the very bottom, sell it at the very top, buy those 2 annuities and 2 REITs and call me in 10 years sort of a thing. No, we do it step by step, day by day. It's a process, and we work with you all along the way.
If you're ready for some help, call Compact Asset Management at 800-388-9700 and schedule your free consultation with Mo Ansari.
This is KCAA.
You know, I talk a lot about annuitizing income, making sure you don't run out of money before you run out of time. I've given you the statistics from Ibbotson and many other research firms on how much of your income should be guaranteed, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the main reasons why I believe virtually everyone should attempt to annuitize some income in their portfolio is so that they can parcel off some of that annuitized income to pay for a long-term health care insurance policy. Now, the key is paying for it and getting it before you lose your ability to own it. Sometimes it's age, sometimes it's dementia, sometimes it's other health concerns, you name it. But Lynn Rowe, we gotta figure out a way to convince America people are living longer, they need long-term health care, 50, 60, 70% will need it for probably an extended period of time. How do we do that?
Well, Ray, you bring up a good point. I mean, National Association of Long-Term Care Insurance, I mean, their motto is long-term care insurance is good for America, and it is good for America. 70% of the people in skilled nursing facilities today are on public assistance. Don't decry your taxes and then not take care of this aspect, because that's stepping up to the plate for your part of the puzzle.
Okay, so now we're getting political. Lynn Rowe is going to run with Carly Fiorina, because I know you wouldn't run with Mrs. Clinton.
Oh, well, we aren't going there.
But you bring up some excellent points here, but I want to get back to the investment side of this,
yes,
all right?
Yes.
Because individuals can do a lot with their investment portfolio.
Sure can.
Because if I did an annuity, a joint life annuity, I may be able to get a 5 or a 6% guaranteed distribution rate. If I'm going to take a 4% safe max rate, that extra 2% can go a long way toward providing me with care.
Absolutely.
And buying the policy. So how do you get younger people before they're 80 years old thinking about that? Because an 80-year-old may have some maladies that would prevent them from being able to qualify for
That's
it.
exactly right. Well, younger people, believe it or not, Ray, are starting to pay attention. They are seeing their grandparents in care, and they're starting to see their parents having health issues. So we're starting to see younger people paying attention to that. There are ways to do it for younger people. I have one company right now, as an example, that will take 4 employees at the same place. Doesn't have to be an employer-sponsored plan. 4 employees from the same place, and they can do a mini group.
Hang on a sec. Hang on.
Yeah.
So I've got 4 people here.
Yes.
We have a massive staff here. A staff of, including me, 4. So if the 4 of us, actually there's 5. If the 4 of those guys, because I'll guarantee you none of them have thought about buying long-term care insurance.
I'm working on them.
But I've got it. All right. So if the 4 of them got together, do you bill them separately, or is there central billing?
No, they would be billed separately, but they would be billed at the same location. So they just have to work at the same place.
And do they get a discount or anything like that?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. And if their spouses apply, they get another deep discount because they get that spousal discount.
All right, so let's play it out. These are young guys. These are guys in, their 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
So how much are they going to pay? Just give me a ballpark.
Oh, Ray, I hate that. They could do.
The true salesperson here.
No.
I just want to know. I want to get to the bottom. I'm a bottom line guy.
Anywhere from $50 to $300 a month, depending on what they want. I mean, truly, the range is enormous when people buy long-term care insurance, which is why I tell people, don't ask an insurance company or a broker, what does it cost? That's like asking a salesperson selling you a car, what does a car cost? What are they going to show you?
They're showing you the DeLorean.
Yeah, exactly. So what you're going to say to them instead is, here's what I intend to pay for the long-term care insurance. How much can I get with that?
Okay, well, that's a good way to turn the tables on me. But let's just say it's me.
Yeah.
Because about 8 years ago, 5, 7 years, I don't know, but when I was younger, I bought long-term care for Jeannie and myself. And I still, to this day, have not had a rate increase, which I'm thankful for. And it cost me about $4,000 per year.
For the two of you.
For the two of us. I started with a $180 daily benefit. It's up to like $230 now. Will that work here in San Diego? $230 a day?
$230 would work, yes.
So I'm feeling pretty proud of the decisions we made back then.
Yes, you should.
I'm not beating you up that for 7 years I've spent $28,000 now, and I haven't needed it. And there'll be another $28,000 in the next 7 years.
If you had a claim today, God forbid, if you had a claim today, you'd be repaid all those premiums in about, what, 3 to 4 months?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that I bought long-term care insurance. And to be honest with you, it took me, as you well know, several years to get off the dime. And I know better. I know better.
Yes.
But even knowing better, I still procrastinated. So I'm still looking for the swift boot in the fanny from you. I want you to look into that camera and tell the folks out there in TV land and the people in radio land can hear you. Give them the best elevator pitch you can give them on why they need to do this today.
They need to do it today because if they love the people around them, their family, the ones that they provide for all their lives and said that they would continue to provide for, at some point in the future, they may be the caregivers, and you don't want them to go through the kind of nightmare that Ray is experiencing right now and other people have experienced. If you love them, do it for them. It's not for you. It's for them.
That's a pretty good elevator pitch. This is Lynn Rowe. Her website is iwantmyltc.net. But let me just say something about Lynn. She's not here to do pitches. She's here because she truly loves this part of the industry. She truly loves the elderly. In particular, she loves the military elderly. I know you've worked a lot with veterans, and God bless you for that. And you love working with people, and even if they can't perform all of the activities of daily living, I know you've talked to me in the past about other ways you get involved with the home care agencies, or maybe some of the people that can't, for whatever reason, qualify for long-term care, but can perform the activities of daily living. You've talked about other ways that you can get them a form of coverage. Can you discuss that?
Well, you know, I've had people come to me who have been turned down because they have rheumatoid arthritis, or they've been diagnosed with MS or whatever, but they're not in care and they're doing fine, but they can't get the coverage. They've tried. There are other ways to get coverage. 70% of the claims going into the insurance companies today are home care claims. Why? People want to be at home, just like Ray's dad. They want to be with their family and their friends and their pets and their stuff. They want to be at home. Well, there are packages of home care hours that you can buy at a deep, deep discount. And that plan is something that we've helped people with all across the country.
You know, you showed that to me one day, and I said, no, this can't be real. Because it was like less than the minimum wage, for crying out loud.
I know.
It was pretty darn amazing.
These guys have done a great job with this plan.
And this is a legitimate company. This isn't some, you know, Lynn Rowe Inc. from the back room.
They took 2 years vetting all of the plans with actuaries, looking at the amount of reserves that they need to maintain. These actuaries look at those reserves every quarter. I mean, these guys are doing a fantastic job.
I don't understand the business model, but I do understand this. Go to iwantmyltc.net. And the fact that Lynn is also a certified financial planner, she might be able to help you by looking at the portfolio. She doesn't sell security. My understanding is you don't sell securities anymore.
Nope.
So you're not gonna twist anybody's arm to buy any securities or invest any money or whatever. She only deals in the fixed insurance arena, period. But she can help you understand how you can maybe call your broker, maybe have her call your broker and try to tweak the plan so that you're able to pay for long-term care. Very quickly, I know you work with Gene Pastula.
Yes.
And Gene's a good friend. He just
Wonderful
got back
guy.
from Italy.
Mhm.
I'm really jealous. He didn't invite me.
Didn't bring me a pizza.
No, but I don't think pizza actually came from Italy, but that's a whole other story. It came from Domino's, of course.
I understand.
But the linked benefits plan,
Yeah.
you got 30 seconds to do that pitch because that's an easy way for people that have money to take care of it.
You got that rainy day money sitting somewhere earning 0.00 pitiful. Move it into something that's a lot better rate of return, but most important thing is the return is paying for the insurance. You're self-insuring for a portion of it, and the insurance company is matching you big time.
I didn't know she was going to do a Linda Ronstadt song. Poor, poor, pitiful me. What was that song? It's a pretty good tune.
Yeah.
We'll use it as bumper music when we come back. Don't go away. The Ray Lucia Show. Lynn, I want my LTC.net. Phone number.
877-270-3127.
And we'll be back.
You love
Fridays just got fabulous. Don't forget to reserve a seat in the Happy Hour Lounge with Ben and Alexander every Friday at 6 p.m. on KCAA 1050 AM.
This is Dick from Carpet Masters. Carpet Masters has been serving the Inland Empire for over 55 years. Carpet Masters uses extraction cleaning for your carpet because there's no better cleaning to remove the soil from your carpet. All of our furniture cleaning is done by hand in your home or in our plant. Carpet Masters also offers dry cleaning for fine furniture. Call Carpet Masters at 793-7215. That's 793-7215 for Carpet Masters.
Are you tired? Are you tired of being tired? Do you hate your job? Do you feel like you're on a hamster wheel and want to jump off into balanced living? Then tune in every Thursday at 7 p.m. for Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. It's a show about hope and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So there's no CNN, constantly negative news, no gossip, no scandal, and no K-words, no Kardashian talk. Instead, you will hear callers ask Dr. Marissa, also known as the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura, for advice about love, hate, money, jobs, sex, and what to do next. So join me every Thursday at 7 for Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa on KCAA AM 1050 NBC News Radio. This is Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah, signing off until then. Peace in and peace out.
Words can be discombobulating when people twist them to fit concepts that are the exact opposite of what the word actually means. Consider the current debate in Washington over the Trans-Pacific Partnership. This secretly negotiated deal is the exact opposite of a, quote, liberal reform, for it blatantly transfers a major portion of our people's democratic sovereignty into the plutocratic hands of multinational corporate giants. Yet lawmakers and pundits fronting for the corporations have disingenuously dubbed this corporatization of power a, quote, liberalization of global policies. I was born at night, but it wasn't last night. For an example of the reactionary reality of TPP, look at a couple of little favors it does for Big Pharma. First, it extends the number of years that a pharmaceutical giant can keep a patent on its brand-name drugs. Not only does this artificially add more monopoly profits into the coffers of drug makers, but it simultaneously postpones competition from the makers of cheaper generic drugs, an especially dangerous delay for low-income people who are ill. A second provision restricts public regulation of drug prices by any of the 12 countries that are part of the agreement. This is a gross nullification of the people's sovereign right to remedy price gouging by corporate profiteers that hold monopolies on life-saving medicines. Those pushing TPP assert that it's merely a trade agreement and we should not bother our little heads with worry about its details. but is filled with gotchas like these gifts to Big Pharma. They have nothing to do with trade and everything to do with global elites secretively, deceitfully, and immorally agreeing among themselves to steal power from us. This is Jim Hightower saying, don't just worry about TPP, fight it. Get the lowdown on how at stoptpp.org.
Hi, this is Bob with Real Estate Talk with Bob and Randy. Tune in every Thursday afternoon from 3 until 4 at KCAA Radio 1050, and we will be there to answer your real estate questions, the latest real estate news, and to talk to the leaders of the real estate industry. Our Real Estate Talk, you can find out how to stop your foreclosure, first-time homebuyer information, loan modifications, different kinds of loans you can buy with, short sale strategies, and real estate investing and more. So don't forget, tune in every Thursday afternoon at 3 for Real Estate Talk with Bob and Randy. You'll be glad you did.
Do you remember the song?
Yeah, of course I remember this song.
Poor, poor, pitiful me. Lynn Rowe, you want to help me do a couple of emails here?
Sure.
All right, so we've got emails coming. Okay, who are these guys that sang this one? The Marvelettes. So we went from Ronstadt to the Marvelettes. Coming up, Michael Jackson.
Retender sender.
I'll be moonwalking here. Some emails, raylucia.com, RayLucia.com. Again, Lynn's phone number, I kind of gave you the short shrift there. What was your number?
877-270-3127.
She has got all kinds of tricks up her sleeve. This is an amazing thing. And, you know, as I age and I'm around the retiring population, more and more I see this. And now that I've spoken a couple of times in front of retiree groups, home health care groups, I'm absolutely amazed at the quality of work that's being done in this area. Is this a good strategy? They got to eat too.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Lynn and I will tackle Shane in Chandler, Arizona's question. I'm nearing retirement, and I'm allocated for 15 years using laddered individual investment grade corporate bonds. For this period of time, I will generate roughly a 5.5% return. Wow. I plan to continue to ladder with the interest received for future additional years and spend the bond money, at least till I find that inflation is higher than my yearly needs. Is this a good strategy? Well, it certainly sounds familiar and sounds good, Shane. Let me kind of go through, because I think you stole this from me, by the way. I think that Shane has been listening in Chandler, Arizona for a lot of years. And Lynn, when you were in the full-on financial advisor business, this is the kind of stuff you did.
Yeah.
Now, you locked in 15 years worth of bonds. So they're probably 5-year-old bonds. You probably have 10 years left on that bond ladder. God bless you. Don't change it. Even though those bonds are probably selling at a nice premium today. But you can't replace them, and you'd have to pay taxes on the sale. Now, there is a strategy, Lynn. There is a strategy of selling the bonds, if they're corporate bonds, and paying a capital gains tax instead of paying an ordinary income tax, and then rebuying the bonds with much, much lower interest rates it should all equal out in the wash, but you got to factor in the transaction costs. So talk to your broker about that one, because this is a huge strategy, by the way. You got 10 years worth of bonds maturing. You know you're going to pay ordinary income every year for the next 10 years on all those bonds.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You could sell them all right now.
Not a good idea.
And, well, it could be. You sell them all right now. If the premium that you received was high enough to offset the transaction costs and the lower yields you would get on buying the new bonds, you just converted ordinary income into capital gain.
Got to do the tax numbers, though.
Well, then you got to do the fee numbers. The tax numbers, are going to work out.
Right.
Because keep in mind, if that person is in the 15% bracket, they're going to pay zero tax.
Right.
So this is a huge strategy that I just thought of. Having said that, I love the fact that you're thinking about spending the bond money first. What did we learn from the Wygan study? What did we learn from the Spitzer-Singh study? We learned that spending from the safe accounts first produced the best results, not the second best. So this strategy is spot on. Now, you're going to continue the bond ladder, which is really rebalancing your portfolio. You're going to be taking money from equities and redoing the bond ladder. I wouldn't do that annually. I'd do it and buy like 5 years worth of bonds and do some strategic value averaging when you're liquidating. In other words, Lynn, as you know, you sell when stuff goes up.
Yep.
So that you don't have to sell when stuff goes down.
Correct.
I would give Shane an A+ on this strategy. What do you think?
I think you did great. That's bucket one if I ever heard it.
Yep. Okay, Vera in San Diego. I heard you segment. I think she means your segment.
Typo.
Typo. I heard you segment, your segment, on non-correlated assets the other day. It was great. Thank you. Would annuities and direct-owned real estate be considered non-correlating? Yes. Now, real estate investment trusts are stocks, so they would be a little more closely aligned correlation-wise with the stock market. If you go out and buy an apartment building or a condo or a single-family home, I don't see a big correlation to that with the stock market. Now, again, when this whole world collapsed, stocks and real estate went down. But by and large, I love the strategy. Boy, these are some pretty sharp people.
They've been listening to you for a while, I'm sure.
Because, Vera, what I would do is I would annuitize 50% of this portfolio, because the Ibbotson data tells me I got a 97% chance of success if I do that versus a 75% chance of success if I don't. And I'd use the extra income that I get from buying that non-correlated income to take care of my long-term health care issues. And then the other 50%, I would definitely invest in a stock, bond, cash, and non-correlated alternative investment portfolio. That's what I would do. And I think you're going to live happily ever after when you do that. But here's what you don't do. You don't beat yourself up in a year like last year, where all of those non-correlating asset classes didn't come close to beating the Standard & Poor's 500. And you just have to understand, you're going to have some good years where you beat it and some years where you don't beat it. But remember what the objective here is. You're retiring. You want risk-adjusted rates of return with a portion of your income guaranteed for the rest of your life and guaranteed for the rest of your spouse's life, that manages longevity risk, sequence of return risk, and market risk all at the same time. Two very smart emails and a smart guest. Lynn Rowe, thank you for sticking around.
Thank you, Ray.
No parting words?
I think your strategy is brilliant. It always has been. Still
and she
is.
didn't even pitch her phone number. Just go to iwantmyltc.net. Give Lynn a buzz or an email I want my LTC.net. If you want to email me.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 a.m., the station that leaves no listener behind.
Another senator runs for president. A Supreme Court ruling on threats. I'm Evan Haining. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham announced his White House bid today, stressing bipartisan cooperation, saving Social Security, and strong